I hear you singing. It's a great song, Thelma Houston. 71 today, one of her big hits. Well, I am so happy to have with me here today Orrin Hudson, who I feel like I've known for at least 15 years. At least. Orrin is special because he's a two-time World Open Speed Chess Champion. He's an author of the book, One Move at a Time, How to Win at Chess and Life. And what's most important to me, he is living his dream. Already 55,000 people he's trained in chess, and his goal is to do this for 1 million. And you say, well, chess is just a game. For Orrin, it's more than that. It's a way of life, and it's a way of keeping our children safe. Orrin, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Monica, for being here. You know, I'm touch me and make sure I'm not dreaming.
You are so funny.
I'm being interviewed by a legend, so God is so good.
Legend just means old. So let's get to what I want to talk to you about. A lot of people don't know your backstory. You were one of 13 kids?
Yes, ma'am.
In Alabama, living in projects?
Yeah, Birmingham housing projects.
And what path were you going along?
I was in a small gang. A guy came to me with a box of honey buns and candy and snacks, and I said, he said, if you want to have this stuff, you got to do what we tell you to do. I said, okay, I'm in. And we was breaking.
Because you were hungry.
Yeah, I was hungry. We had 13 of us in the house. Actually, it was 14 because my sister had a child, so it was 14. And you know, broke in back of Greg cookies and was stealing inner tubes and was selling inner tubes to get 50 cents for them, and just in a small game doing petty crime.
And what happened to change that? A teacher.
James Edge pulled out a chessboard and said, I can show you better than I can tell you, and showed me that every move you make has consequences and that you got to start thinking for yourself. Chess teaches you must think for yourself. It demands.
But I've got to ask, what did he see in you? And I'm sure you asked him years later. Why did he pick this little boy to pull out and save?
He told me he got in trouble when he was my age, and someone helped him, and he was just paying it forward.
Just like you're paying it forward.
Yes, I'm paying it forward.
Now, you learned to play the game of chess and became quite the man in Alabama because you were the first black student to...
The Andy Reader, which was the state champion at the time in Birmingham, Alabama. But, you know, I owe all that to James Edge because he purchased me a book and said, all readers are leaders. To earn more, you got to learn more. So he started me off on a path to getting books. So I have over 800 books in my home now. And when I invite kids to my home, I teach them, I show them my library, and I say, see what I do? I read. All readers are leaders. To get to the next level, you got to read. So I just teach children that, you know, to be givers, to serve people and help people.
Now, before you finished high school, and the next thing I know, you're working for the Alabama State Patrol. I can see you pulling somebody up. Hello, ma'am. Do you know how fast you were going?
Mr. Jones, I got you on radar at 109. If I write 109 on this ticket, the judge will lock you up. She don't play that. So I don't want to get you locked up. I may bump your speed down since you slammed on brakes when you saw me. Smoke went everywhere. He slammed on brakes. Somehow or another, when they see the radar gun, they slam on brakes.
So why did you decide to become an Alabama State Trooper?
You know, my life has always been about service, and I was a Kenny Shoe store manager, and in sales they teach you the customer's always right. Well, when I became a state trooper, they said this is wrong. The customer's always wrong. Otherwise, you hadn't been stopping them. So I became a state trooper because I like serving people and helping people.
But when did you say, I'm really not in the path that I need to be of more service to people?
Well, 7 people were shot in a robbery in Queens, New York for $2,000. And I said to myself, evil prevails when good people do nothing. So I started a crime prevention program called Be Someone, and teaching young people to go after the cash with a K. K for knowledge, A for attitude, S for skills, and H for habits. And once you get this cash is king. Once you get this cash, no one can take it away from you.
So the chess then became the thing. I can remember when you started here, you gave me this huge chessboard and pieces. All I do is play checkers. You know that. There's some things at my age I'm not going to learn. There are other things I will learn. But what I do find is that you kept approaching everyone saying, listen, this is a way to help children self-discipline themselves. So let's talk about that.
Well, chess teaches you to have a plan. It teaches you pattern recognition. Once you know the patterns, you can know what's coming next. Pattern recognition allows you to plan, prioritize, position, and predict so you can prevent poor performance. There's a lot of P's there. So once chess teaches you how to set up a game plan so that you can see all this stuff ahead of time. And I teach people you're responsible for your own success.
Ooh.
People make bad choices because they don't see a way out. Chess trains you to see a way out because you know the pattern so you can plan, prioritize, position, prepare, and predict, and you'll become a prophet so you can prevent pretty poor performance.
Oh, I love it. A bunch of P's. Now, what is the reaction of most children when you go into a housing project or to a school and say, I want to teach you this game because it can help you be a better student?
Well, most people say, no, I don't want to learn that game. It's too hard. But oftentimes I put a little challenge out on the table and they go, yeah, I'm in now. So,
and what is that challenge usually?
I've oftentimes put $1,000 challenge out for the young people. And because.
And what do they have to do for that?
They have to beat me. They had to beat me.
That's impossible.
Well, it's not impossible, but I had one of my students who I trained 20 years ago. He almost beat me. So yeah, I'm gonna be beat. I had 2 seconds on one of my clocks one time. So they always take me down to the wire.
So you get them and you get them in with $1,000 challenge if you beat me. And then how do you proceed in order to keep their attention when there's so much going on outside that room where you have them?
Well, once I get them in hooked, then I got them because they said, you know what, Coach, I don't want to pay for $1,000 anymore. I just want to keep playing. Because they see that I teach children how to impulsivity is the problem. I teach them how to delay gratification.
Now stop. Say that again. Say that again. Delayed gratification.
How to delay gratification. And I show them on the chessboard. I'll be making a move. I say, I see I can take your queen here for free. The queen is 7 times more powerful than the king. But I don't want the queen because I want to stay focused. I'm going to delay taking the queen. I'm going to delay gratification. And I'm going to move over this side and checkmate you. And so I teach children by actual experience how to delay gratification, how to think things through, and how to be a giver, not a taker.
Ooh, that is powerful.
You can't get arrested for giving. You only can get arrested for taking. There are 4 types of people in the world. The people that subtract, divide, add, and multiply. And I teach children to multiply value. God's first instruction to the first couple on earth was be fruitful and multiply. I'm teaching children to multiply value. All I do is win. All I do is win because I'm always giving. I'm going to always outgive you.
Well, how do you deal with the problems many of those children have within their home? The lack of food, the lack of a parent who's disciplining them, or just a lack of resources.
I think our biggest problem is the parents. You know, I think everything starts at home. I think if a child's walking around with his pants sagging, that's a parent problem. We got to go into the home. That's why I do parent workshops. I do parent workshops, and I'm always trying to help the parents, and I'm trying to help the kid as well. And we need to create a dialogue with the students so that the student and the teacher know what's going on with home. Because if a parent is not treating the child right, we need to fix that because we got to make children our number one priority.
The one thing I love about you and chess is that you make it fun for them, but it's very serious for them. How many kids have you had go on, or have you ever thought about how many children you've affected in the sense that they've gone on to bigger things that were not expected?
Well, I thank God for my life. I've never seen a child that's been in my program on the news.
Thank you, Jesus.
I just thank God for that because I teach children to be givers. And if you give, you gain. Jesus said if you give one, it'll come back 100-fold. That's the best investment. A bank is only going to pay you 10%. So I'm teaching children that if you give, you serve others, and you think things through, which is 6 magic words, take time to think things through, then you'll be a champion.
Well, when we come back, what I want to talk to you about is the role you played in the film The Queen of Katwe. And if you have not seen it, it's a delightful film about a young African girl who learns to play chess and just cleans the board with everybody. So stay with me. We're going to talk more with Orrin Hudson. And also, I'm going to tell you how you can help him this summer. Make sure children who can't afford to come to his summer camp be able to go to his leadership camp in chess. Stay with me. This is Monica Pearson on KISS 104.1 FM. Kiss 104.1, Atlanta's best R&B and throwbacks. I'm Monica Pearson, and that was Sade from Nigeria. And I have Mr. Orrin Hudson here, who worked with Lupita Nyong'o, and also David Oyelowo when they both were in the movie The Queen of Katwe. And Orrin was blessed to be selected by Disney to go around to 4 cities to talk about the movie and also to do chess camps. How did that happen?
God, I tell people all the time, I thank you, Father God. Touch me, make sure. Was this real?
Yeah, it's real.
Am I breathing? Okay, yeah. Just God. I got a chance to go to Hollywood, D.C., Chicago, and a few other cities, just promoting chess, and got a chance to play Lupita and train her. She was the only one on the set that knew how to play chess ahead of time, and she almost beat me. So I got to step my game up.
But what was it like when you were participating with them, but also in each city you set up camps for kids?
Right. It was wonderful. They made special appearance, and they got a chance to mingle with some of the kids, and Lupita was so nice and sweet, and it's amazing how she knew the game and had a very good game. In fact, I think that elevated her, and probably is the reason she won the Academy Award.
Because she actually knew how to play the game, so it was not something she learned at the last minute. It was something that was already part of her personality.
Right. Well, it teaches you different techniques and patterns, and once you know patterns, you're able to position and predict and plan and get yourself together.
So you took a bunch of kids to see the movie?
Yeah. We invited probably over 100 people to the see the movie, and got feedback from different people, and people loved it because you got to have a plan. If you want to win, you got to have a plan. And sometimes the place you're used to is not the place where you belong. You belong when you believe you belong. And so we teaching children to dream big.
Well, I get tickled with you because you're so surprised when things happen. And when you were on the Tom Joyner Morning Show, you couldn't believe you got so many contacts.
I'm like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, well, next time, give a brother heads up. Don't have me, had my phone blowing up. Man, I did not know how powerful being on the show was.
Well, he believes he's is on here on KISS every morning, starting at 6, and he's on from 6 to 9. And education is very important to him. So anything that raises a child's self-esteem and helps them be a better student, he's very much into. Well, I got to ask you about your organization, your initiative, Be Someone. Be Someone.
I came up with the name Be Someone because Abraham Lincoln, his mother, her last words on the planet to Abraham was be someone. And even though Abraham had failed many times running for public office, he became 16th president of the United States because his mom inspired these 2 words, be someone, to inspire him to do that. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm just putting those words out there, inspiring young people to be someone. Be all God created you to be, and never settle for less than you can be.
Well, you also do something that I think is a surprise to many people. You have these great slogans that the kids can remember. One I always remember is, don't push drugs, push.
Push pawns instead of drugs.
Yes.
Yeah, and get your head up, get your pants up, get your grades up, and the big one, never give up. And we want to teach children to be the champion that God created you to be, and never settle for less than you can be. That your mind makes this game a level playing field. Your mind makes everything you want to do a level playing field, because the only thing that can take you to your goals is your mind. So I wrote a song called Get Your Head in the Game, because the only thing that can take you to your goals is your head.
But I have to ask you, when you see what's happening so much with particularly our young African American men, how do you not lose hope?
I trust in God, and I put God first, and I'm constantly obeying God and leaving all the consequences to Him. And me helping young people make better choices and decisions it makes my heart sing.
What is the worst decision you've ever made?
The worst decision I ever made was not starting my program a lot earlier than I did, because I think Jane Fonda said something to me I'll never forget. She said, "Well, if you really want to make a difference, you got to start with the young people." And I think the younger we start with the kids, the better it will be. So,
well, former President Obama has just said that's what he's looking at doing for the rest of his life, developing young people. When we look at our children, particularly how they function in school, when they come to work with you, I'm sure they're not all good students, but what has been the result that you can say quantitatively, this has happened?
Well, I coach Aaron Porter, who was about to go to jail for attempted murder on his own father. I coached him, I trained him, I mentored him. We traveled to Augusta, Georgia. We competed in the statewide chess competition, and he won. Now, the beauty of that is that when I train a child something, he has to think for himself. It's not like football. Football, I can holler and tell you what to do. Chess, I can't say a word. I got to teach you in the classroom, and then you got to perform. So I'm teaching children how to think for themselves and how to make every move count. Is this true? Is this honest? Is this the best move I can make? Make every move your best move.
And tell me some other stories about children who have done better than they would have had they not been exposed to chess. How many of these kids have gone on to college? How many of them are, you've been doing this at least 17 years?
17 years. I had one of my students that's in college now came back to the camp that we was doing in spring break, and he said, Coach, I can beat you now. I said, okay, let's go to see. I was able to hold him off barely, but the beautiful thing is he is very, very good, and I've offered him a job because I cannot believe he almost beat me. So God is good.
Now that, I guess, is the next question from my viewpoint. Why don't you play anymore? Because you're telling me you don't really play the way you used to.
It's not about me, it's about we. And it takes teamwork to make the dream work. Teaching the children makes my heart sing. So my goal is to train 1 million young people. I've trained 55,000. I don't have time to play. I played 2 years ago in Las Vegas, won a little money. I still got it. And you go to Vegas and you're playing with 63 different countries. I won a little money at Maurice Ashley, millionaire chess thing. Got a little money for that. And I'm like, man, I still got it. So,
can you make a living playing chess?
I can, because I'm the best in the world when it comes to teaching young people.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm the best in the world at teaching young people in the world because I teach the children as though my life depends on it.
Say that again.
I teach the children as though my life depends on it. Because
and why?
It does. Because it does.
Why?
Because it makes the world better. I don't want you to be kidnapped. I don't want you to be robbed. I want people to be givers and serve people. And it's so rewarding teaching children who are lost and getting them on the right track.
Now, you have a camp coming up in June. It's your 5-day leadership chess camp. Now, you promise a lot in this 5-day camp. Now, folks, I'm going to read to you the flyer. What your child will learn, a proven blueprint and strategies to teach them how to outthink, outperform, and outsmart the competition and finish on top. Then Orrin says, are you listening? Give me 5 days and I will change your child's life forever. That's a tall promise.
And I mean that because I'll show the children my library, my 800 books. I'll show them that all readers are leaders. And if they beat me, they're going to get the $1,000 and they got all this stuff going on. There's not a camp on the planet that does that. Because I want children to know that if you win, I win. And it's not over until you win.
So how many children can you have in this camp? And I guess the other part of it is how young can they be and how old can they be?
Well, I'll say 8 to 108, anybody in that bracket. And I can hold probably as many as 25 kids.
So there is this window. 25 is the most you can handle.
25 is the most I can handle. And I got a team of people that won't be just me. But we teach them more than this. We teach them how to speak, vocabulary building. Vocabulary is, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was God. So words are very powerful. We teach children to speak hope, speak love, speak life. Everything out of your mouth is positive. You can't get arrested for saying something negative. You only can get arrested for saying something negative. So I teach people to be positive. Everything out of your mouth is positive. And if the good you do comes back to you, the bad you do will be sad for you. Every move you make has consequences. There's sanctions, there are repercussions, and consequences for making bad moves.
Well, we're going to talk some more about the camp, and here's why I want you all to continue to listen. The camp is $197. There are children who are living in public housing or children who are living in a poverty area who would like to attend this camp, but their parents can't afford it. So if you believe in paying it forward, at the end of the show, I'm going to post the information where you can support a child for $197. And what's so nice about it, they're there from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., but Orrin says you can drop them off early and you can pick them up late. But the important thing is this is an investment in our future. So stay with me. I'm going to talk some more to Orrin. But right now, I want to tell you about something we're going to give you free. You know, I love to go to the movies. Just talking about the Queen of Catway. Well, KISS loves to take you to the movies for free. So you can join us for free family movies under the stars at parks all over Atlanta. Coming up on June 10th, we'll be at Ronald Bridges Park. That's in Union City. And we're going to show you Moana. But then in July, and I'll tell you later on, we're going to show you Hidden Figures. And I'll tell you where that's going to be before the show is over. Got to take a quick break. You're listening to KISS 104.1, Atlanta's best R&B, throwbacks, and conversation. You're listening to KISS 104.1, Atlanta's best R&B and throwbacks. I'm Monica Pearson, and my guest today, Orrin Hudson, the chess master. He was just explaining to me during the break how he could teach me how to play chess. Yeah, right. But he did. I mean, very simple, so I would understand what each one of the chess pieces mean. Okay, go ahead, Orrin. Explain it.
The queen married the king. They got married by the bishop. They ran off on a night, and they went to the castle, and the pawns became the children.
Now, let's talk about the power of these pieces. Okay, let's start with what we learn from the king.
The king is the thing. If you lose the king, the game is over. Now, the king can never be captured, but you can trap him. You can arrest him. So the king is like the president, and the rest of the pieces are the Secret Service.
Ooh. Now, how about the queen?
The queen is 7 times more powerful than the king. She's all that and a bag of chips. And I tell people all the time, if the king is near the queen, you can't get it. You can't get the king. So what you do, you got to get the queen. You got to separate them. And if you get the queen on the other side of town, then the king is very weak.
And what about the pawns?
The pawn is okay. It's a small one, but if the small ones stay in the game and stay persevering, it can become anything. If a pawn makes it to the other side, you can become royal. The small one can become the big one. So the pawn is small, but the small one can become the big one if you persevere and if you don't give up.
Now, that's the lesson you tell the kids.
Right. Persevere and never give up. The biggest mistake you ever can do your entire life is to give up. So never give up and stay in the game. I wrote a song about it.
You keep telling me about that song. I'm going to have to listen to it. What about the bishop?
The bishop sticks to his religion. It stays on his color. It's like the religious piece of the board. It sticks to its color. If it's on white, it stays on white, and it moves on a slant.
You know what I'm thinking here? Boy, this would be good for older people because it would help with keeping your memory sharp.
Right. It slows down Alzheimer's disease, and it really helps your brain because if you don't use it, you'll lose it.
That is so true. Now, yesterday, you were at Miller Grove High School?
Yes, ma'am. Played about 100 kids, and they didn't want to leave because they like, we going to stay here. And so I love it. You know, I was there from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
Now, I know you have 6 kids. Do they play chess?
Yeah, they all play chess.
They had to play chess.
They had to play chess. I signed an executive order, Article 3-2, implemented and promulgated.
But did they want to
play? Mama said I don't have to learn chess. I just signed an executive order. You have to learn chess. Article 3, Section 7.
Your book, One Move at a Time, How to Play and Win at Chess in Life. When I looked through it, you know what surprised me, which just goes to show you I needed to get this book. So I'm glad you brought me a copy, even though the copy you gave me actually is signed to Tyler Perry. But that's all right.
Yeah, I signed 2 copies. One for Tyler Perry because I was with him yesterday. I signed one for Tyler Perry, Monica Pearson, and I got them twisted. So he's got your book.
Tyler, I want my book back. But anyway, talking about the forward, you have it. I can't believe Jack Canfield. Now, for those of you who don't know who Jack Canfield is, he is the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, that whole series, and Success Principles. So how did you get him to write the foreword to your book?
Well, initially he told me he didn't have time, but he said he had went to Harvard and he know for sure that he can beat me. I said, if you know for sure, if I beat you, will you write the foreword? He said, yeah, I'll write the foreword, but you got to beat me. So we played a match, and I was blessed to be able to beat him, and he said, well, I got to write the foreword.
Chess can get you a little bit of everything that you want. Well, again, the camp is coming up, the 5-day leadership chess camp. Now, what's the day like for the children?
Well, we're going to teach them about vocabulary. We're going to teach them about respect and courtesy.
Let's start with the vocabulary, presenting yourself well in speech.
Yeah, you got to present yourself well, especially because it'll open doors for you. The words are like God. Words are God. In the beginning was the word was God, and the word was with God. Vocabulary is a direct relationship to crime. The bigger your vocabulary you have, the less crime you do. They did this research, and they wasn't looking for this, but they discovered that the bigger your vocabulary, the more successful you are.
It's so funny. My mother used to say anyone who used profanity, it was a small mind. She would say that all the time because it means you don't know many words.
Right. And I honor you, Monica, because you inspire me. Because when I heard Oprah say you beat her out, I'm like, what? They said coming up next, the person who beat Oprah out in an interview to get the job. I'm like, well, I'm staying here until I find out who it was, and it was you. So you inspire me.
Well, that story, I didn't know about that until Oprah told me, as it was with Jane Pauley. Evidently, the three of us were up for the job for the 6 o'clock news in Atlanta. And I was blessed to get it. But you know what? I think both of them did exceptionally well. Okay?
But I believe your vocabulary elevated you and put you able to synchronize and deliver your communication skills, because communication is the key in everything you do.
But it's not just communication, too, because if you walk in a door and you don't look the part, they never will hear anything that comes out of your mouth. And that's the reason why I really appreciate the significance of what you tell our young men: to pull their pants up, make sure you're neat and clean, speak well, because it doesn't matter how smart you are if you walk in the door and you look like, well, you look like.
I had a kid call me the other day. He said, Orrin, I'm the hardest working guy on my job. I arrive early, I stay late, but they won't promote me. I said, I want you to cut your hair and I want you to pull your pants up. He calls me back and said he's making $8 more an hour. He said, people shouldn't judge me by my appearance. I said, well, let me give you a clue. They do. Appearance is everything.
You are very upfront with these kids. You don't hold anything back.
You got to keep it real. I keep it 100. I'm gonna call a spade or whatever it is, because you got to be honest with people, because integrity is the most important thing that you can have, and being true to yourself.
Well, I think what happens with most children too, they look at chess as being an egghead's game. I'd rather play checkers, or I'd rather go play basketball. I'd rather go play football. What does chess teach you that you can use in other sports?
Chess teaches you teamwork. It takes teamwork to make the dream work. You can't checkmate me by yourself. And it tells you to have and not to use and not to have. One of my students was playing me the other day, and he was only using one piece. I said, if you're not going to use the other pieces, just give them to me. To have is not enough. To know is not enough. You have to apply and use. That's what chess teaches you.
Well, when we come back, I'm going to talk some more about the camp, give people the information they need, because, again, he can take up to 25 children for this camp in Stone Mountain. And there are children who would like to go, who have come and learned from him, but their parents can't afford the $197 to send them. So I'm going to give you the site you need to go to so that you can help out a kid. Stay with me. Don't forget, Kiss 104. We play the most R&B music. And you know what? It makes you happy. You're listening to Kiss 104 FM. Kiss 104.1, Atlanta's best R&B and throwbacks. I was just looking at my Facebook page, and Orrin has sent me some pictures over the years when I was a redhead. We have been friends for a long time, so it was kind of fun to go through and look at those pictures on Facebook. So I've reposted them on my own Facebook page, which is Monica WSB, Monica Pearson. We're talking about your 5-day leadership chess camp that starts Monday, June the 5th. And this camp is so important because it helps kids, quote, be someone. And Orrin, I'm kind of begging here on the air, which is probably what I shouldn't do, but I really am asking people. And John and I, my husband and I, are going to sponsor a kid. for $197. And then one of my dear friends, Leona Barr Davenport from the Atlanta Business League, just sent me a text and said she will sponsor a kid. If you're interested in helping a child who otherwise could not go to this camp to learn how to be the best they can be, it's not where you come from, it's where you're going to, my mama always said. So go to www.besomeone.org to donate. So let's talk some more about this, my friend over here. These kids are going to get what I call an opportunity of a lifetime. So how many of the children stick with you all the way from elementary school through high school?
Well, I have kids that reach out to me all the time. I do community events as well.
Right.
And they show up at did events like that, and they challenge me, and I have them as volunteers and workers, and sometimes they do different graphics and stuff for me. So we try to stay in touch. I tell kids, you have me for life. As long as I'm alive, you have access to me, and I'm here to serve you.
Well, how do you get to be a speed? And that's the thing. You are a 2-time World Open Speed Chess Champion. Because I think people know you play chess and they love what you're doing, but they don't know how good you really are/were.
Well, I tell people I'm the king of failure. I fail more games than anybody in the world. I'm the world's biggest failure. And I tell you, failure is weakness leaving the body. The more you fail, the stronger you get. So I teach children to make it okay to fail, that every master was once a disaster, and you succeed by learning. Failure is your friend.
Well, I love the fact that you say don't focus on what you lose.
Focus on what you have left. Aaron Porter, we was playing in the state championship in Augusta, Georgia, and he lost his queen. And I'm looking at it, just imagine, I'm like, oh my goodness, he lost his queen. But he remembered what we teach in class. Don't focus on what you lost. Focus on what you have left and never give up. The biggest mistake you ever can do your entire life is to give up. Stay in the game and keep moving forward.
And he won.
He won.
Well, how did the other guy lose? Because he got the queen.
The kid got overexcited, and winning the queen is not enough. You got to capture the king. But the queen is so powerful that it's hard to get the king when you have a queen. But when Aaron lost his queen, the other kid got so happy and he was so celebrated before the game is over. You just got to play into the end. And we teach children persevere, and stay with it.
Well, I have to ask you about your own family. When you talk about, as we said, you came from a family of 13, and then with your sister's child there was 14. How have your siblings done in the game of life?
They do. My brother, he thinks he's a poet, and he thinks he got me beat when he comes to speaking, but I challenge him on that as well. So I have a lot of family members that are always trying to get me, but at the end of the day, we all love each other, and I'm all about serving people.
So is your mother still alive? My
mother's still alive. My father passed away a few years back, but my mother's still alive, and my mom never really. She never really say she don't want my head to get big, which is my head will never get big because I tell kids I'm always in pre-K. But she always
in pre-K.
Yeah, I'm always, one of my kids came back to me 20 years. He said, "Coach, you was in pre-K 20 years ago." I said, "Yes, I'm never gonna get out of pre-K because once you know it all, you're no longer teachable. So you got to stay humble and never celebrate until the referee's in his car."
Never celebrate until the referee is in his car.
Right, because the referee has the power to put more time back on the clock. So you follow the referee. Don't take your helmet off until the referee, because the referee has the power to put more time back on the clock. I have a penalty. We gonna move the ball. We do it. We gonna wait till the referee get in his car before we celebrate.
And I think this is what I love about what you do. Chess is a game, but to you, it's all about life.
It's all about life. And if chess teaches you that it's not where you come from, it's not who you are. You have everything you need to succeed. You have your mind, you have your ability, you have your talents, and you have time. Take time to think things through. You can do this, you can do it here, and you can do it now. No one's better than you, and you're no better than anyone else.
You cannot be impatient and play chess.
You got to learn how to wait. See, and you can't announce what you're going to do. You got to be cool, you got to be calm, you got to collect.
Now, see, that's what I love when you say you can't announce, because people all the time, I'm going to do this.
No, because they'll stop it. And so oftentimes I make a move to have a hidden agenda. It looks like I'm doing this, but I'm really doing something else. And I tell kids, I say, look over here. Whatever I do, you can do. Nature is neutral. Whatever I do, you can do. and they see what I do. I teach children by actual experience how to think on their feet and solve problems. You get paid based on your ability to solve problems.
That's applicable in anything. Orrin, it is such a joy to have you here. Thank you so much. And I want to tell all of you, if you want to help support a kid in the summer break leadership chess camp that Orrin Hudson will have in Stone Mountain on Stevenson Road, it's going to be June 5th to June 9th. But he already has children who would like to participate, but their families can't afford it. It's $197. So if you would like to adopt a kid and help out, please go to www.besomeone.org. Thank you so much, Orrin, for being here.
Thank you, Monica. I'm being interviewed. Touch me. I got goosebumps all over my body.
Will you please stop? I got to get off of here.
This is goosebumps.
You are so funny.
Is this real? Touch me. Make sure I'm not
Orrin,
dreaming.
I got to close the show. Hush, as my mama would say. Somebody's calling my name. It's the boss. So let me remind each and every one of you that you still can register for a $1,000 in your hand. Just go to Kiss 104 app. You can get that app now and sign up for it. Register at kiss104fm.com or get the Kiss app. And when we call your name, be the caller. And guess what? You'll get $500. That is it for me. Niecy Shaw is coming up next week. It's a Mother's Day celebration, and we're going to be talking baseball with CJ and Kelly Stewart. Their group is LEAD. That means to launch, expose, advise, and direct. And as I leave you, don't forget what Mama Hattie always said. It's what you do with what you have that makes you what you are. Don't make excuses, make work. This is Monica Pearson saying goodbye from Kiss 104.1 FM.